आज रात 12 बजे से
The best part of traveling from a laptop is that you always arrive fresh and you can get anywhere instantly. Today we catch up with Hanna Johansson from a remote island in Sweden. Hanna has traveled to 71 countries after quitting her job 3 years ago. She's the brand ambassador of Triumph Scandinavia, and for obvious reasons, you always find her on a Triumph. She takes us back on the memory lane and talks about her travels and what she carries on those travels.
Hi Hannah, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good. I couldn't see you last time you were here in Delhi.
No, I know that was very unfortunate, but I see you right now, so that feels good.
Almost as good.
Yeah, almost as good. I'm happy to see you now.
And you're officially not locked down, so you can officially ride.
Yes, that's how it is in Sweden right now. I can still move around even though the government has told us to be responsible and keep a distance. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to not go out as much as I usually do. I don't see my friends as much as I usually do. But yeah, I can take the bike for a ride from time to time. So I do that if it's okay, if I don't have to talk to anybody or something like that. So.
But there aren't many people in Sweden anyway, so you can always maintain that distance even when, even if you're not technically not asked to do it.
If you compare to India, yeah, I mean, there are not many people here. We're 10 million people living in the whole Sweden. So, how many people are living in New Delhi?
New Delhi definitely has somewhere more than that.
Yeah.
Or at least equivalent to that.
So yeah, if you compare to India, now there are not many Swedes out there, but at the same time, I mean, it's enough that you just talk to one person and something could happen. So I just try to stay responsible, and yeah, here on this island where I am right now, I have not seen one single person since I came here. So this is very remote, even for me.
And so let's get back. You've traveled 71 countries,
Yes.
3 years post quitting your job. So if you do that for the next 1 more year, you're gonna cover half the world.
Wow, I haven't even thought about that.
There are about 200 odd countries. So if you do that for the next 5 years, you're gonna cover the world. What do you plan to do after that?
After traveling the world, travel the world one more time. No, they're not. I mean, and there's so many islands. So, I mean, I don't think that I will be able to cover the world. Not in my pace, anyhow, because I like to take it slow. I like to see a lot of countries, of course, and a lot of different cultures, but I also like taking time and, just embrace the places where I go and not just, swoosh by as fast as I can and just, put a mark that, okay, I've been there, done that. I would really like to just enjoy it and see and experience. So I don't think I will see the whole wild, world, but of course it's a dream, and I want to see. I haven't been to South America, for instance. That's a whole continent that I haven't been to, so that's my next big goal. I really want to go there. That's my big goal right now, and where I go after that, I'm not sure, but maybe in the future. I mean, the world is changing all the time, so something that I've seen maybe 10 or 15 years ago, if I go back there 10 or 15 years from now, again, it will be a complete new place. So I don't think you can ever stop exploring, even though you've been there before.
I think I'd like to go to Cuba. Cuba is something that's always...
Yeah, Cuba, wow, I would love to go there. It's hard, I've looked into a little bit, this with motorcycling in Cuba. You're not allowed as a tourist to rent a motorcycle there. But there are different kinds of way to work around that, from what I've understood. So I would love to try that sometime. Maybe chip my own bike or go with a company or something like that. But it would be really cool. Or just go to Cuba.
Just go to Cuba. I think the cars there are so nice to look at when you look at the pictures. Different colors, all vintage. And it's so untouched. Like, nobody wants to go there, and it's so pristine.
People are saying that Cuba is getting different now as well, since it became more open. The old Cuba that people like to talk about is slowly fading, and it's becoming something new. But for me, that's alright. I mean, you will still meet the same people, and you will still hear about the culture that was very different. So it's not like I don't want to go to Cuba just because it's changing. It's even more interesting to me to see a country that is changing and to hear what they want to change into and how it was before and stuff like that. It's very interesting.
So tell me, how did it all start? So 3 years ago, what went in your head that I'll do this?
Yeah, the reason why I quit my job was actually one day I just felt that life was passing by and I felt like I had lost control over time. I was sitting at this office that was, I had a great job, amazing colleagues that made me laugh every day, and it was good and challenging. It was good. But I was sitting in the middle of Stockholm and I was looking out the window, and I remember that I saw people passing by the window like this outside. And for every person that passed by the window, it felt like that was a symbol of time that was just passing. And this thought just made me crazy, and I just felt, no, I cannot continue doing this one more day. And I stood up, I asked my boss if I could leave, even though it was only 2 p.m. I had to. I had a lot of extra time, so I could do it. I went home and I started searching for different opportunities to do something else. And just in that moment in Sweden, we had a company that changed rules about getting like a loan of money to study abroad. So I was thinking, okay, this could be a good thing actually, to come out of Sweden, do something else, get some distance, and meanwhile also study English. That's what I did, because I was way too shy before to speak English actually. So I needed to go somewhere and really, practice my English, which has been very good for me. I would never have done this interview otherwise. I can tell you, I would be too shy. And I went to California for 5 months, and while I was there I rented a Triumph Bonneville and I was riding the epic Highway 1. And it was just so magical to ride that bike and to see those landscapes and the ocean and just feel the wind. It was the first time for me that I was actually riding somewhere else on a motorcycle like that. And my big dream then was to ride over the Golden Gate Bridge in California. So I did that. And while I was riding over the Golden Gate Bridge, and I understood this is possible. You can actually follow your dreams. You can make your dreams come true, and you don't have to stay in this box. There is a world out there and you can explore it. You just have to, take the risk, because that's what it is sometimes. You have to take a risk. But it was so worth it. And I had tears in my eyes, I had tears on my cheeks, and I was like, wow, this is what I have to do. And when I came around the corner and I could see the Golden Gate Bridge over the water, it was just glittery. It was so perfect. And that's when I told myself that this is what I have to do. So when I came back home to Sweden, I told my boss about this, the experience I had, and they were really cool at this company. They told me that, okay, if this is your dream, that's what you should do. And they actually gave me the opportunity to continue working a little bit for the company, but online. So I started editing photos. I didn't earn much money. It was like 700 euros, between 700 to 900 euros, something like that. And for me, that was a big loss of income, of course, but I got a lot of more freedom. And yeah, I could afford rent and food. That was it, and I was perfectly happy with that. And I started looking at the map of the European map, and I could see that I've been in a lot of countries in the south and in the west of Europe, but I had not been in any country in the east. And I started thinking, why is that? So I started just, make points in Google Maps, and I could see that, I could actually make a road trip out of the whole Eastern Europe, 19 countries that I hadn't been to. And yeah, that's how it all started.
And then you just quit, and those 700 euros, was good enough to sustain and then keep growing from there.
It was hard. It was really hard. I think I lost 5 kilos during this time because I didn't eat properly, but I have never been so happy, and today I thank myself every day for making that decision and for doing it. I did not even have a motorcycle at the time. I had some savings left, just enough so I could buy a motorcycle, but it was an old one, or old and old, I don't know, it depends on what you compare it with 2009 Triumph Bonneville. And I wanted to do this trip so badly, but I didn't have a bike. I didn't have the things I actually needed to do a motorcycle trip. But anyhow, I booked the ferry from Stockholm to Estonia, Tallinn in Estonia. because I wanted to have like a deadline, a real deadline. So I booked the ferry, but I didn't have anything. And my mom, she asked me like, but Hannah, how are you thinking now? I mean, you don't have a motorcycle, are you going to go on this ferry? And I said, yeah. I mean, if I don't have a motorcycle by then, I'm gonna take my bicycle, and then I'm gonna just, take my bicycle through those 3 countries and then take the ferry back home from Riga or something. That's a smaller trip, and it was not really what I was dreaming about, but I said, I'm gonna go with this ferry, and that's how it is. And just 2 weeks or something like that, now I don't really remember, but a few weeks before the ferry was going to leave, I found my Triumph Bonneville, my Bonnie, that I love, love, love so much. And I did some maintenance on her. I say her because for me this is this is a person, my Bonnie. And I learned how to fix the most common problems that could occur on the road. And yeah, then I took the bike down to the ferry. I rolled on the ferry, and then it started. And that was the first trip. And yeah, this trip was it's very special to me. It was very, very interesting in many ways. And
coming down to your first Bonnie, and then you became the ambassador for Triumph Scandinavia, right?
Yes.
So which means you don't have to buy a Triumph again ever in your life.
I want to buy every bike that I ride. That's my problem. I fall in love with all of them. I name all of them, and saying goodbye, it hurts. But this ambassadorship is amazing. I'm so grateful. I'm now an official ambassador for Triumph motorcycles in Scandinavia, and to say that, it's like a childhood dream that just wow. Because when I started this, I never thought about social media or becoming a brand ambassador and stuff like that. I just wanted to ride through Eastern Europe. And I started taking photos, and then my mom, she refused to get Instagram, so I had to open up my Instagram so she could see my photos in her browser. So I opened my Instagram for my mom and like 16,000 other people. That's how it happened. And somehow on the way, while I was in Eastern Europe, I remember I posted some photos in a Facebook group, a Swedish Facebook group, with just touring riders. And then one person in this group, he was working for a motorcycle magazine in Sweden. So he sent me a message and asked me if I wanted to write something about my trip for them. So I did that, and it became a big thing, like a 2-piece travel story in their magazine. And then Triumph saw this, and they asked me if I wanted to come and speak about how it is to travel as a solo female on a Triumph then, of course. And that's how it all started. They have never had an ambassador before. I've never been an ambassador before, so everything was just, it was just a perfect match. I love Triumph, they love what I'm doing, and so we want to support each other.
Alright, so tell me, so I was going through your pictures, and they usually just have a duffel bag at the back of the bike. So is it right to say you've mastered the art of, traveling light?
I didn't know that before. I got a lot of questions about it, to be honest. I get a lot of questions about this, and for me it feels like I have everything in there. I usually bring too much, like everybody else. It was quite funny. When I was in Australia, I got to land a motorcycle there for almost 2 weeks, but it was a Triumph Bobber, and they didn't have bags on it, so I couldn't attach any luggage. I only had one backpack, and I had a backpack that was quite small, so I only got to pick the things I really needed. And I was happy that I was in Australia because it was quite hot at the moment, so I didn't need like thick sweaters and so on. But even though I just had this very, very small backpack, still I brought a t-shirt that I didn't use during 2 weeks. So you always bring something that you don't use.
But you're always traveling with just a duffel, or probably another bag.
Let's see, I usually have a duffel bag, yes. Sometimes I also use one of those, I don't know what they're called, those round things that you pack from the top. I don't know the word in English for this. It's like a bag, but you open it on the side. And it looks like, in Sweden we say packing sausage, but that's not what it's called in English. But it looks like a sausage, and then you open on the side and you put in stuff. You know what I mean, right? You don't know.
You've never seen them. I've never seen a bag like that.
I'm gonna send you a picture afterwards, and then maybe you can just put it in the video. This is what I mean, guys. Look.
I'm just gonna put a picture of a sausage and a
No,
bag
that's what.
and someone trying to fill up a sausage in.
Oh, that sounds funny. I realize that now. Whew. Okay. Anyhow, that's how I pack. So usually, okay, a duffel bag and a smaller duffel. Let's say it like that.
And a sausage bag.
And a backpack, because I don't like having a tank bag, because I think that it steals a little bit of.
It's very ugly. The big ones are very ugly. Do you have our tank pouch, the one that we make? Oh, I'm gonna send that to you after this. Or when the country opens. It's
I'll
smaller,
try it.
it's
I've seen your
concise.
stuff and it's really beautiful. So that could be something actually.
Alright, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you.
Alright, I'm gonna send you that tank pouch as soon as my country opens and starts shipping.
Good. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna email a photo of this packing thing, so you know what I meant.
Bye, cheers.
Tell us in the comments below who you would like us to catch up with, and we'll get them here. Don't forget to like this video, to share this video, and follow Trip Machine for more such content. We will see you guys very soon with another episode of Bikers on PMS.
आज रात 12 बजे से